So yeah, it's the same old story with my channel. I don't do anything with it for 6 months, gathers up a bit of dust, I give it a proverbial kick just to make sure it's still alive. If only it was as simple as actually giving it a kick. But no, I've got to record something, I've got to upload it, make sure it actually gets some views. In the aftermath of the Crystal Clear LP, I've gone and freaking past 200 subs on this channel. How I'd managed to pull that off, I've got no clue, especially since I've been on an arbitrary hiatus. I don't think there's ever been a hiatus of mine that's not been arbitrary. Do you want to, okay, you want to be a pal there? Stupid intro does not like to, title screen rather, does not like to stick around for very long. So, here's my next project. It is another Pokemon game. It is another Pokemon ROM hack. This time, instead of coming from Shockslayer, who is basically at this stage the, I don't know, I was going to say Messiah, but I don't think he's quite at that level. But Crystal Clear is still a very good ROM hack, and its latest update is coming out relatively soon. But enough going on a random tangent about that. We want to talk about one of Drayano's ROM hacks, his latest one, which is the focal point of this next LP, Renegade Platinum. If you know what Drayano's like with his ROM hacks, you pretty much have an idea of what to expect. We get to deal with gym leaders with teams of 6 Pokemon. We get to go after all 493 Pokemon as they are in the national decks in this generation, and just an overall increase in difficulty. So it's going to be the same old shtick that we've done in a few other LPs in the past, except it's just going to take place in the Sinnoh region. I kind of wanted to try something in the Hoenn region, but yeah, who cares? This is the latest one. It's had a number of updates. Part of the reason I haven't actually started this until now. It came out about 6 months ago. It had some rather unfortunate bugs. I think it still has a couple of bugs which are a bit difficult to deal with. Hopefully those will get fixed up at some point, but for the time being I figured that there wasn't really going to be much in the way of... I mean, the updates aren't quite as frequent, so I figured now's about as good a time as any to get crack-lacking with this thing, even though there's already more than enough different playthroughs of this on YouTube already. A handful of them have to be like Nuzlocke or any other sort of stupid randomizer thing. I'm just going to go with a bit more of a traditional playthrough, just going to grab a team of 6, just going to go through the game, complete the national decks, basically do as much as I possibly can in it. Hopefully that includes finding a shiny on screen. If you've seen all of my other playthroughs, you'll know that that's been a bit of a difficult thing, outside of obviously encountering set-in-stone shinies like the Gyarados and the Cloyster. Nothing too original with the name here. I'm a dude. I'm gonna just stick with the usual Red Star name, that's about it. For the rival though, no idea. I considered naming him Vegeta, which is like a really shitty pronunciation of Vegeta, and it's kind of memey as well, but I'm not even... I have my doubts as to whether that's even going to be freaking good, so I think we're just gonna... yeah, I have no idea. My last rival was called Beepus. I think the one before that was called Chapel, and those were 2 stupid references. I'm not even sure where I can come up with a freaking reference for this guy, so I will try to work that out, and I will be right back. Fafe. I'm stealing something off Jish. What's new? We're just going to go with Fafe for no real reason. I don't even know what Fafe even comes from, other than just it being a stupid word. Probably could have called it Felf to be even more of a rip-off, but we'll keep it in moderation for at least this playthrough. I might name another rival Felf in the future, who knows. Not nearly as interesting as the television thing in Diamond and Pearl, which was literally alluding to, I think it literally was alluding to the Lake of Rage's Red Gyarados. Or at least a Red Gyarados somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was alluding to a Red Gyarados. Okay, first and foremost, get this shit. Fucking sort that out. Sticking with the usual old, like, Gen 1, Gen 2 border there, just because I'm kind of old school like that. So if you haven't played the Sinnoh games, your rival here is basically on crack. And that's literally just, that's just his perpetual MO. He just runs around like he's eaten the entire, like, if a circus, if you've come across a circus and they're completely sold out of cotton candy, then that dickhead has probably been to that circus and just completely run them dry of cotton candy. Or fairy floss, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know what it's called down here in Australia. It's, you know what I'm talking about. The dude must have more sugar than his body is even capable of handling. So there's an EV there. We can't pick it up yet, but we will be picking it up a little bit later on. For the time being, I get to run around, and I get to, I believe I can also, let me have a look in here. Yeah, I get the bicycle as well, so it gets those out the way. Don't have to worry about those. Not that you really need the bicycle all that much, but just getting it out the way at the start is, I guess, the best way to sort that out. I don't even know if there is actually a bike shop in this game. I feel like there is. My experience with Sinnoh is not that great. Like, my knowledge of it is certainly patchy at times. Because even though I've seen Jish's Platinum playthrough like 3 or 4 times now, I usually have it playing as background noise, so I don't really pay attention to much of the visual. And so, yeah, and I never actually did a proper Platinum playthrough of my own. Like, when Platinum came out, I was well into that phase where I was just using an R4 card and being a asshole of a pirate and not actually buying the games. So, I never got to really play through Platinum with an actual proper sort of team, and so as a result, my experience is just with Diamond and Pearl, the latter of which I have a playthrough that I started, I think, 7 years ago, and I still haven't beaten. I still got to grind for the Elite Four, but the battling in Diamond and Pearl is just so freaking slow. It's... I don't want to grind up a shitstorm. I really don't. I did it in Diamond, and I was well rewarded. Not only did I go into the Elite Four with just trying to test to see how they were at and like what levels they were, I ended up beating them. But also during my grind session down at the little water route north of Sunny Shore, I ran into a shiny Tentacruel, so that was nice. But I have my doubts as to whether or not that's going to happen in Pearl, so I'm honestly considering either trading the team over to a game with a faster battling mechanic and just grinding it up that way, or... yeah, I don't know. I like to at least finish it off because I'm that close. Same thing with Black. So, probably not the best idea for me to start a new Pokemon playthrough when I've got at least 3 playthroughs yet to be finished. It would have been 4, but I did get myself a bit of motivation and knocked over Ultra Moon at least. Just needed it just so I can get the last few bits and pieces for my living decks, which still kind of feels incomplete considering Meltan and Melmetal are a thing, and it's made me consider going to get one of the Let's Go games. I don't know. I'm just going on a pointless rambling tangent because everybody here is just going through useless exposition that you're pretty much used to with the start of every Pokemon game. You're talking to the professor, he's going to give you a Pokemon, like... At least it's better than just me shutting up and making you just watch these people going on the same old tangent that you've probably used to a number of times, depending on how keen you are at new Pokemon playthroughs. So, Sinnoh starters are about what you'd expect. Again, I'm going to go with a starter that that has at least somewhat of a chance of getting remaining on the team. And so I'm going to go with Piplup. Turtwig was another possibility, but it was either or. I decided to go with the Piplup anyway, just because it's more adorable. Chimchar wasn't even getting a look in because it's on my team in Pearl, and if we get Diamond and Pearl remakes, I'd like to recreate my old Diamond team in the Diamond remake, which, guess what, had a frickin' Chimchar in it, or Infernape. So, yeah... Oh yeah. Now that we've got our starter, there's the handsome fella on the screen. Is that a... Oh no, that's part of the game. Wait. Hang on. I should be right. Looked like it was over... Looked like the team display thing was overlapping with the top of the screen there. But whatever. Anyhow, I am almost certainly going to lose this. Just because this guy is going to keep spamming tackle as well as withdraw, so I don't do as much damage. I do not believe I have any potions on me. No, because the only thing I can actually do is fight. So I guess I could try spamming growl to make sure it doesn't actually hit me as hard. What's this gonna do? Yeah. This is gonna be slow as shit. I could speed this up, but I'm not too sure how fast it's actually gonna go. I had the limiter on MGBA when I was playing through Crystal Clear, which made it not quite as obnoxious that I was speeding up. Instead of just, like... Because I would just have it go at double speed as opposed to, like, 20 times freaking speed. So, you'll notice I've got Bubble, which is a tradition started, I think, in Gen 6, where the starter begins at level 5 with a stab move on it. Before then, it would usually just have a normal type attacking move, such as Pound or Tackle, along with a stat reducing move. Or in the case of Turtwig, a stat increasing move that's being a bit obnoxious. Certainly would not mind getting in a crit here, especially if the Turtwig's going to keep spamming Tackle. Alright, I'm just going to speed up here because the plan is to just pound this thing into oblivion. Yeah, didn't think so. Thankfully, though, the loss is... Financially, my loss is minimal, so I don't really give a crap. All it really means is I'm not allowed to buy 15 Pokeballs from the Pokemon. I can only buy 14. But I'm not going to fuss too much about Pokeballs early on, just because Dawn, spoiler alert, gives you 30 of them. So... They're birds and beavers. I don't think they were going to pose any sort of a threat to me. They're not the frickin'... They're not rabbits, at any rate. Can we actually go up here? Okay. I thought that dude was going to be like, no, you can't leave. You have to go and visit your friend, but I don't want to, but thou must. So yeah, not only is he on sugar, but he's also an idiot. I bet he's champing at the bit knowing that I'm just making him go as slow as I possibly can. Because he would rather just bolt there like the frickin' dog from the Disney movie. I believe this is another difference between Platinum and its predecessors here. Cyrus is just right there. You've only just gotten your starter, and yet there's the boss of the criminal team of the game. Absolute freaking madman he is. I mean, obtaining the starter is just different as well, because you would get the starter from here, and you would need to use it to fend off a wild Starly. In a very similar sort of spot to the previous generation, where if you try to soft reset, you may be unlucky enough to get the shiny on the opposite side of the board where you can't catch it. Thanks, Game Freak. You're a credit to the human race. And that statement is made even more true when you consider the whole Sword and Shield debacle. I didn't want to go too much on a tangent about the Sword and Shield debacle, but... yeah... I think there's a time and place where I can feel like I can talk about that, but I don't really want to talk about it during the playthrough. All I can tell you is it kind of sucks. But I still have at least some level of optimism towards it. I don't really feel like it's the worst thing. It's gonna... like, I don't feel like it's gonna be the worst thing in the world. But it is controversial. I feel like Game Freak did drop the ball on it, and here I am just freaking going on a pointless tangent about it. I don't want to go, like, too deep into it, but yeah. It's a thing. We may just have to live with it. And, that's about it. So, what the hell can we run into on Route 201? Maybe something that's, you know, interesting. Nah, Starly was not even remotely interesting. It's the same old crap that you'd normally run into on this route. I think one of the other reasons I was a bit shy about going ahead with this playthrough is just the fact that I am going to want to commit to catching all 493 Pokemon, which I did in Storm Silver, and that was a bit of a romp and a half. Like, even in a self-contained ROM hack, it does take a fair bit of a while to get every single Pokemon, you know, because you gotta breed for some, you gotta evolve some, and all that sort of riff-raff, and there aren't really too many other playthroughs in which I really commit towards a living dex, so having a living dex run every now and then, it does the trick. I'm hoping I don't burn out too much, because I did binge the crap out of Ultra Moon to get that out of the way, and I'll probably end up binging the rest of Y, and assuming I can get up enough motivation to get through the frickin' snow frickin' dungeon and shit. That area kind of blows. Nah, it's not going to be... I don't think it's going to be a permanent member of the team, and even then it's not too far before I get to the name rater, so if I do end up using this Purple on the team, I will hopefully have come up with a nickname by then, and I can roll on from there. But yeah, I go into this pretty much in a similar situation team-wise as with the last few playthroughs that I've done, and that is I don't really have much of a plan in regards to what I want to use. I've got a few ideas going, I'm just not too sure where I can grab those specific Pokemon, if they're early, if they're late in the piece. I'll have to go and look up the wild encounter tables at some point, maybe after I'm done recording this segment. Maybe put together something that'll do a decent job. The Ultra Moon team probably could have been a little bit better, I feel. Just because I didn't really have as much type coverage as I wanted to, so it's... yeah. Exposition, something, reference and shit. Good for you. No, that is objectively false. If I'd chosen a Chimchar, you would have gone on about choosing a Turtwig and going on about, oh, if you'd chosen a Turtwig, we would have the same Pokemon. Even then, that'd be false, because if I did pick Turtwig, you would have picked Piplup and gone on a tangent about how if I picked Piplup, we would have had the same thing, which in itself was false. I don't know why that miniature rant made me think of Simon Miller. I don't... Oh, this is going to be an absolute hoot and holler. At least I feel like my commentary is not horrendous. Still feel like I need to shake off some cobwebs, but I'm alright with it. Oh yeah, he gives you repels. I think he gives you like 10 of them. They're just pretty much useless. Unless there's some stuff in the early routes that you can repel trick, which would be kind of cool. I'll have to, again, look that sort of stuff up. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, she says it won't be as scary if I go and heal, but, I could just do that. She's not a very good mentor. She was never even a good mentor when I first played a Gen 4 game, so it's like... yeah. Still early in the... yeah, I mean, it is 5 in the morning. I'm all freaking nocturnal and shit at the moment. That's probably one of the other reasons I'm getting started on this playthrough now, is I've got some quiet time where I don't have to deal with loud and obnoxious children and everything, so it makes me kind of wonder if I go back to a regular sleeping schedule when I'm going to have the time to do that anytime soon, because I'm pretty sure school holidays is like really, really soon, if not like right now. So that might be horrendous. Can I have my Eevee? Stupid parcel. Give me my Eevee. Actually, let me throw a save state here. Actually, no, I don't want to save here, do I? Actually, yeah, I do want to throw a hard save here. Because if you saw my Storm Silver playthrough, I wanted to grab a female Eevee and evolve it into a Leafeon for that playthrough, but then I ended up getting the wrong nature. And so that might be part of the plan here, is to finally use a Leafeon. The Moss Stone in this game is actually pretty early on, so I figured I might as well try to go for that. And so basically the plan here is to reset over and over and over until this Eevee ends up being a female. Thrilling gameplay. Alright, I'll cut back once it has that pink sign. That took far longer than it really had any right to. I think I reset a good 20 times before I got the freaking female. So, there we go. We can pop that up onto the team display now. Now we get to find out if this thing is a modest nature, because I'm pretty sure that's what the Glaceon ended up having. Hardy, neutral nature, so that's actually decent enough. Jolly's not too bad actually on Piplup. Plus speed, minus the special attack, so it's not the best when it comes to surfing, but I think Piplup's a bit more of a physical attacker anyway, or at least Empoleon is. You know, so I'd rather have something like a Waterfall, or maybe like... I don't think it gets much in the way of physical steel moves though, does it? It gets Metal Claw. Maybe it gets Iron Head through like a tutor or something in this hack? That'd be nice. I don't want to stick to freaking Flash Cannon on a Jolly, so... Okay. I think we're about 25 minutes in, so I will go and have one more little bit of randomness here. Just this random fight against Dawn. Shouldn't have spoiled that, honestly. But yeah. Because I've totally, like, just about killed myself getting here. Okay. So, I was referring to some bugs earlier that were a bit obnoxious to deal with. One of them was just the fact that you don't get any money for beating Dawn. So, it's like, she'll give me the 30 Pokeballs here, but you want money? You want my money for beating me? Too bad, you don't get anything. So, this battle seems a bit more obnoxious than you might think. Just because she's at level 9, and it's probably... I tend to be a bit paranoid when it comes to this early game section before I get any Pokeballs, which is why I try not to grind my Pokemon up too much, and like try not to encounter too many Pokemon. Just because, you know, you find a shiny before you get Pokeballs, it's going to be kind of depressing, so... I think here the plan is to just keep spamming Bubble. Sometimes Piplup will get knocked out and you have to clean up with Eevee. Sometimes the Piplup will wreck the Fire Monkey in its face. 2 levels. Eevee only got 1 when it got the knockout. So yeah, no money. Because she's a cheap bitch. 30 Pokeballs. It's a pretty good start because it means you can get some of the majority of the bits and pieces from the first couple of routes before you have to start actually worrying about the amount of Pokeballs that you've got. So, interesting ID number there, I guess. Okay, I think that might be about it. I'm about 27.5 minutes in. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick for an opening segment, so hopefully this goes down pretty well. I might have a bit of a collection of things to show off in the next segment. We'll see how that goes. But next time I think we're just going to keep on our merry little way and hopefully just do some stuff over in Jubilife City. So, hooray! I've gotten through segment number 1, and now I feel like I've got to commit to the rest of this playthrough. Nah, it'll be fine. I'll see you next time.